6 races remain in the 2002 NASCAR Winston Cup Series season, and for this next race, we head to one of the major wild cards to end out the season is the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama for the EA Sports 500. We're going to be seeing pack-style racing here at Talladega with speeds over 190 miles an hour, cars running 3 and 4 wide inches apart, and as we know in many Talladega races, the threat of a big one looms around every corner. Last season, we saw 3 major crashes in this race. You have to know that the championship drivers sprinkled throughout the field, Trey. They are going to be feeling the pressure here today in this race, especially with how few races are left in the season.
Yeah, Joe, I wouldn't be surprised if we, after this race, we see some junked up race cars.
Yeah, especially with how the championship is on the line. Some of those drivers that are a little bit further back in points that are right at the edge and maybe slipping out of championship range, they could get aggressive, maybe force something that they shouldn't be forcing. It could cause a crash. And mentioned how these championship drivers are sprinkled throughout the field. DeLello starts in 3rd. Sebastian Kukulon starts in 6th. Then you have to go back to Matheus Wells, the current points leader, starting inside the top 15 and 13th. Right behind him is Keyshawn Richardson in 15th. Then you have to go a ways back to drivers like Chris Jericho or Conrad Evans. They're a little bit further back in the field. They still have a shot at the championship, but they have to work their way through the field. Fortunately for them, it is the Talladega Superspeedway. You could easily make ground up here throughout the race with how much shuffling happens at the front of the field. And speaking of the front of the field, a lot of the underdogs, some of the smaller teams, showed up for qualifying and put their cars inside the top 10. Noah Clifton for PPI Motorsports has gotten pole in that number 32 car. Great to see. We'll see if he can try and maybe contend towards the end of this race. To his outside, Jack Harder needed to qualify in on speed. He did just that, putting his car outside pole. Diego Lopez starts in 4th in that number 44 car. Baby Ruiz needs to make this race on speed. He starts in 8th place, and Roger Ray for Andy Peach Racing has that car in 9th place, all starting inside the top 10. So Trey, we know that these underdogs can make a difference here at Talladega. Go up there and try and win a race. We saw last season Evan Hunter for MB2 Motorsports get his first ever victory here at Talladega, and then it was Sebastian Kukulon winning for Richard Childress Racing, their first win of the season and their only win of the season last season. So we know that some of the smaller teams and some of the drivers have not yet won races this season. They circled this race on their calendars, maybe their last realistic shot to get it done.
Yeah, Joe. I mean, we both know, everyone knows that these type of racetracks are really anyone's game to come home with the victory here. And I mean, as you can see by the starting lineup, it is up to anyone in this field to come home with the win. The one major thing you have to do, like we mentioned, is you got to avoid the big one here, and you got to know how to work the draft. So we'll have to see which one of these guys has those lucky stars with them today and can bring this one home.
And maybe on top of all that, we saw Daytona last time at a Super Speedway type track, Trey. Watch out for the lap traffic towards the end. It cost Keegan Thompson the victory leading in turns 3 and 4, but he got passed because of lap traffic. So if cars get damaged early on, there could be some lap traffic throughout the race, and it could play a role in who gets it done. We saw earlier this season at Talladega, it broke up the pack. At Daytona, it cost Keegan Thompson the victory. We'll see if that comes into play, or if they maybe keep it clean, or if they wreck, it's big enough to where a lot of drivers end up DNFing from the crash. As we go take a look at the Ford Fast Facts here for the Talladega Superspeedway in Talladega, Alabama. Pretty clear skies here today. 86 degrees, a very warm day for these drivers here at Talladega. 3 miles an hour wind in the west direction, and a small 10% chance of rain here today. It's a 38 lap race, just over 101 miles in length. In the fuel window, you go the full race on a tank of gas here, so these drivers will not have to worry about coming down pit road for fuel. If there's an issue on the car, they'll have to come down then, but otherwise, the whole field will not have to make a pit stop during this race. The track length is 2.66 miles, 33 degrees of banking in the turns, 18 degrees in the tri-oval, and 3 degrees when the track is going straight. The track was built in 1969, held its first Winston Cup Series race here in 1981, and the most Talladega wins. It's a tie between Trey Rainey and Dan Bandon at 5. Other drivers like Kevin Bandon with 4, Justin Heath with 4. Trey, you're up there with 4. A lot of drivers have had a lot of success here at Talladega. We'll see if one of the drivers in the field that has won at Talladega in the past. Keegan Thompson won here in 2000, along with Chris Jericho in the 18. Last season, it was Evan Hunter and the number 30 of Sebastian Kukulon. Earlier this season, it was Lathan Strickland. So the past 5 Talladega races, we've had 5 different winners. We'll see if we get a 6th different winner here at Talladega, or if one of those 5 that were mentioned can try and break through and get their 2nd ever victory here at the Talladega Superspeedway. As we get going here in the EA Sports 500, let's go down trackside and get the command to fire the engines up for 38 laps of action.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars pace off of pit lane for the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. The nerves starting to build for the drivers in these race cars. And Trey, talk about the man in third place, Zachary DeLello, who had the points throughout the summer, but lost it as of late, has had a lot of dismal races. We got a top 5 in the Southern 500 last race at Darlington, got some points back. And oh, by the way, the last time we were at Super Speedway track at Daytona, DeLello was the winner.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see all the Roush guys here. You know, maybe team up, work together some. It seems like out of all the teams, that might be the one that if you see them going with a run, you might want to go with them.
We'll have to see, because they're kind of spread out through the pack. Stout and Burnett are further back. Keyshawn in the middle. DeLello's at the front with Teeth. Those 4 drivers can try and find their way together throughout this race. Starting in 6th place, Richard Childers Racing's Sebastian Kukulan won this race last season, and earlier in the season at Talladega, he left that race as the points leader by a single point. That was the last time he held the points lead. Now he's trying to get himself back into the championship contention. Can he possibly go for back-to-back wins in the EA Sports 500 at Talladega, Trey, and get his championship hopes back alive?
Definitely can. Different car, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him back in the victory lane. I mean, that'd be something. That would be unique, you know, into going back-to-back Talladega wins, but in 2 different cars, but in the same team.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Sebastian Kukulan has a good starting spot. We know he knows how to get it done on these plate tracks. And just a little bit further back, how about Roger Ray in the 55? Future uncertain for Andy Peach Racing. It sounds like they're going to be shutting down at the end of the season. Roger Ray without a ride because of that. He starts inside the top 10, still looking for that first ever Winston Cup Series victory, Trey. Could today be the day for one of those underdogs starting inside the top 10?
I mean, he's on the bottom line. He's starting up front. Looks like that car is fast. Hopefully people will recognize that, and they'll go help him out here and see if he's up front near the end of this thing.
He's going to have to pass at least 8 cars, if not more, throughout this race. At the front, Noah Clifton and Jack Carter, 2 of the smaller teams, single-car organizations, leads to the green flag in front of Zachary DeLello, Diglia Pez, Riley Sprillington, Sebastian Kukulan. That's the front 6. Then Mitchell Collins, Baby Rose, Roger Ray, Justin Seidel. There's the front 10 for the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. The green flag is waving in the wind. Already being aggressive at the front of the field. DeLello made a move on Noah Clifton, trying to get the lead for those 5 bonus points, where Riley Sprillington went all the way to the apron on the back straightaway, took the lead 3 wide to the bottom. Now he's trying to control the lanes as they work off 4 for the first time today, still building up to full song. Riley Sprillington started back in 5th place. Here he comes in the travel, trying to lead the first lap of the EA Sports 500 at Talladega, and he'll do it in that number 28 car, but look on the inside. Our points leader, Matheus Wells, already sneaking up on the bottom, trying to get a lap left for 5 bonus points and then work his way to the back of the field.
Yeah, I was going to say, you think he's up here just to lead 1 lap and then go hide in the back for the rest of the race?
Yep, pretty much get up here, get those 5 bonus points if you can, then say adios. But it looks like Tim Gary, who I thought would maybe help him because they're both in Pontiacs. Gary moves low on Matheus Wells and might shove that 20 to the outside. Maybe Matheus will fall to the back without getting to lead a lap.
Thought that was 4 wide there in the middle, but it actually is 4 wide.
Yeah, you could do 4 wide here, Trey.
Just say, we should be all right.
But it could get a little bit interesting if these guys start shoving together and not playing too nice. But at the moment, they're giving themselves plenty of room as Roger Ray leads into the travel this time. Keegan Thompson, a nice run to the inside. Help from the petty cars of Diglia Pez and Hunter Reed. They've found each other, and they're moving low together. As Ray leads that lap, here comes Thompson. And you can see everyone trying to fight for the bottom lane, racing off into turn 1 at speed.
We really haven't seen this man up front too often. When we have seen him, something always goes wrong, but looks like he's going to lose this help right here. The 45 and 44 are going to stay with each other to the bottom here, all the way below the yellow line. They split up.
Yeah, that was a little bit interesting. It's like Pez didn't trust his teammate Reed and kind of shuffled his way down low. Kind of an interesting scenario right there.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think that'd be in the plans. Definitely didn't help. I mean, they both got 2 cars leading out lines now, but not the ones they want.
See the pack mostly 3 wide, a few rows of 4 wide. Mathis Wells will get back down in line, it looks like, in front of Evan Hunter. And Trey for Evan Hunter, moving up on the inside of the number 36 car. He failed inspection, started last in this race. It took him 3 laps to get up inside the top 10 from 42nd on the grid to 8th place in just 3 laps.
Yeah, I mean, that just shows you he knows how to work this type of racetrack here. So, I mean, other people are going to see that, especially you can see who's right behind him. Our points leader in that 20. He knows that that sounded like a weird sentence to me, but Wells knows that Hunter knows how to, work tracks like Talladega right here. Joe, we are 4 wide for the lead.
We are 4 wide for the lead. Fitzwater trying to block Oskin. The big push on the outside. Yepes got from his teammate Reed. Almost got him clear of all the lanes. But Oskin still fights to the inside of the number 26 car. Has up from the points leader Mathis Wells and then Keyshawn Richardson as they race into the travel. There is the pack from afar as every car is still in it. Wells gets shoved to the middle by Keyshawn Richardson. Oskin all by himself at the front leads back to lap number 4 here at Talladega. And now Keyshawn Richardson looking for leading those 5 bonus points down into turn number 1.
There's no better way to show you how big this track is, Joe, than putting all the cars in a small group like this, zooming out and seeing that they're only in a small fraction of the racetrack.
Yeah, it is amazing to see how big 2.66 miles is. You think about it, you're like, how big can 2.66 miles be? Well, that's how big it is. All 42 cars in a pack, and as you mentioned, it's basically only a fraction of how big this racetrack is. To the inside, Daytona 500 champion from the season, Jordan Edwards, Fitz Bradshaw Racing, moving low. Heads up from Jacob Miller in the 57 for CLR Racing, and there's Jordan Stout, one of the lowest starting championship drivers, and wasn't that good in practice as well. Stout moving his way forward inside the top 3, pushing Miller to the inside. It looks like Jacob Miller trying to lead left, but Keyshawn Richardson fighting on the outside of the 99, and he may have gotten it there. A big run, but it looks like Miller just led that one in the 57.
Miller's been pretty impressive this season so far. I mean, remember the, what was the Coke 600?
Yeah,
right? Yeah, whatever it's called.
Yeah, the World 600 at Lowe's.
I forget the names sometimes, Joe. It's been a long season. But, nevertheless, he drove that car way farther and harder than it should have been drove, and it held with it, and he showed off a lot of skill.
He did, and Keyshawn Richardson got a big push from Oskin, got clear of the 4 wide, and to the inside of the 4 wide, one of the subs in the 25 once again. Remember back in 2000, Tim Gary's sub for Brett Sear because of injury? Well, Brett got injured once again in that terrible crash he had at the Southern 500. Behind the wheels, number 25, Matt Tuck, making his first ever start in the Winston Cup Series, driving that 25 car up to 2nd place. And he had Jericho behind him, but Jericho shoved to the inside of the 18. He wants to get those 5 bonus points in that number 18 car.
I'm glad you reminded me of the Brett Sear situation because I was about to say, here comes Brett Sear on the inside. But, yeah, you're right. That's he took a very vicious hit, there during that wreck, and sadly he's out for the rest of the season. I don't think I've ever met a man with worse luck than Brett Sear and getting injured.
Yeah, it was the Lowe's race back in 2000 where he got injured in a terrible crash, and then here this season, I mean, that was one of the more brutal crashes we've ever seen at the Darlington Raceway, where Brett got basically clobbered by the number 4 car straight in the bottom of the chassis, right where basically Brett would have been sitting. So there's no doubt why he sat out, because that was a tremendous impact into a part of the car that shouldn't be getting hit like that.
Yeah, I don't think the bottom's really made for getting hit head on like Brett Sear did, and we hope for a speedy recovery and for him to come back next season. But other than that, we'll have to see how Tuck does in that HMS ride. Big opportunity for him.
Yes, it is, and a big opportunity for Luke Rainey out in front. Robert Yates Racing, Trey, as of late, has turned it up with both of their cars, but especially Luke Rainey. He was on a streak of top 5s with that victory at Bristol. Last race at Darlington didn't really go his way, didn't have the best of days, but here he is leading at Talladega. A push from Laura Chung gets him clear. Those 2 are clear in single file, moving 3 wide for 3rd on the inside. It's the number 8 Bass Pro Shop Chevy of Eli Bright making his name known at the front of the field. These DEI cars have been very strong at the drafting tracks. Their affiliate car, Jordan Edwards, won the Daytona 500. Lathan Strickland won at Talladega. Eli Bright won at Texas World, and who's to say that maybe one of them might not win again, because here's Eli in 3rd, and right behind him, a few cars back, here he comes. Lathan Strickland trying to sweep the Talladega races, trying to move low in front of Kukulon for 4th spot.
Yeah, Joe, I saw that 8 car, and I thought I was having an out-of-body experience. I thought that was me for a second. It looked so similar from the front.
Yeah, you were wondering who stole your car. You thought it was like somewhere with you. It was locked up somewhere.
I was questioning how I was racing and commentating at the same time.
Well, no, that is Eli Bright, that number 8 car. You can see the pack a little bit spread out here, fanning out in the back. In fact, the back of the field looks like it's a lot worse to be in than at the front of the field.
Yeah, it's very strange. I don't know how often we see the pack get split up like this. I mean, not that the front's really organized, but I think you see more 4 wide in the back there, so it's kind of slowing them up. But I mean, if any one of these guys in this pack here get 4 wide for just a second, it's going to bring that entire, almost you can say, second pack back into it.
Well, I'm very impressed with the patience of Laura Chung behind Luke Rennie. She probably has had runs that she could take out and pass that number 88, but so far she stayed clear single file, just trying to get away from the pack. But as you can see, the draft still brings everyone back together. Kukulon got a run immediately, took it off turn 2 down to the inside, trying to get his way up there. Mitchell Collins blocks Matt Tuck to the inside, and now moves low 3 wide for second place, and that big push from the 25 car shoves Mitchell Collins to the inside, already by those 2 cars. Racing off into turn number 3, and almost contact between the DI guys of Eli Brandt, Lathan Strickland. They were middle of 4 wide and almost made some disastrous contact there into turn 3.
Yeah, this 25 is impressing me, Joe. I mean, you wouldn't think he's a rookie with the moves he's making. I mean, he's making a dive to the bottom of the tri-oval for second place. Might be trying to go for the lead here coming into turn 1, but he does not look like he's hesitant whatsoever.
No, he's not. He was very fast in practice when we were there in that, drafting that they were pack style or pack practicing. And,
you all right, Joe?
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about, but they were pack practicing, and not many single car runs, and Matt Tuck was one of the fastest there. So I think that's just showing that, hey, even though his qualifying run was bad, it wasn't set up to be fast on the single car. It was set up to be fast in the draft, and it's shown right now with the moves he's able to make. He's been one of the most aggressive, probably because his car is the best handling and he feels the most comfortable.
Yeah, definitely. Try to stay pack practicing 5 times fast. Let me know how it goes.
We'll do that after the broadcast is over here on JRTV, as we have Evan Hunter with a late move into the trouble. Great spotter called it in time, so that Hunter did not turn the number 88. And now, for the first time in a while, someone other than Luke Rennie might lead a lap, because here comes Hunter, the winner at Talladega last season. Side by side with Luke Rennie in turns 1 and 2, trying to take it away. And it looks like he will as they come off 2. But here comes outside poster Jack Carter, Keyshawn Richardson, Samet Oskin, all racing off turn number 2. And Trey, we're 11 laps in. So far, no one up there in the championship has gotten those 5 bonus points from the end of the lap. Maybe Keyshawn Richardson, maybe not, because Oskin goes 4 wide.
Yeah, how's that work out? But yeah, it's strange. But again, Joe, it's like we said, it's how this track works. Is that you're never guaranteed to lead a lap here, even if you are out front, just because the runs in this is so huge. That was a very close call there. I thought the 26 was about to turn himself off the 28, but. Oh my goodness, what a dive.
Thought the 36 was going to turn himself off the 28 too. Riley Sprintham has gotten almost blocked twice right there as Hunter still leads. Now Riley gets the run to the inside. Conrad Evans got a run to Baby Ruiz and shoved his way to the inside. Zach DeLello now second on the inside, trying to get his lap led for maybe 5 bonus points, trying to get some points there towards the championship. He follows Riley Sprintham off turn number 2. He'll duck to the inside. Here comes the other petty car we haven't mentioned, Roberto Crown Jr. And here comes Conrad Evans. Helped Kukulon win this race last season. He's trying to get one for himself here at Talladega. 3 wide, and it looks like, Trey, this time we might have one of these championship drivers, whether it be DeLello or Evans, lead a lap for those 5 bonus points.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be a dead heat here. Evans got to hope Gary stays with him here on the bottom. Looks like he does. Evans is going to get a big run here. Tri-Oval is going to be where it's at, and the 97 has no help behind him. Evans has the run on the bottom with about 15 cars behind him. He might get it here unless the 97 gets a run off the top. Evans got it.
Evans did get it. That's big there because he is one of the lowest in points still with a shot at the championship, as he has dropped as the last few races down to 9th in the point standing. So he got those 5 bonus points. Now he's backing out, but Mathis Wells back up to the front of that number 20 car, methodically working his way up. He might try and get up here and get those 5 bonus points. As the points there, he'll duck to the middle lane. A big push from Jordan Stout. Gary gets put to the outside by Roger Ray. Now Wells is up top in the number 20 car, and Anthony Rose goes 4 wide in the number 1, pushing Hunter Reed and Jordan Stout to the outside. Now Mathis Wells had been looking like he was going to be in a good spot, but now he's on the outside, dropping back, and not in a great spot because he's kind of vulnerable up there.
Yeah, Joe, remember how there was 2 packs?
Yeah, now it's
they formed back
pack
up
again.
But yeah, it's these guys are really still trying to figure out how. I mean, they're more in tune with their car, but they're still trying to figure out what moves they can and can't make, who they can and can't trust. We still got plenty of time left in this race, Joe. And I mean, you cannot set yourself up yet to be at the front of this thing because it's still going to be a shuffle fest. I mean, look at Evans up top. Literally, no one's helping him.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get out of wherever he is. He is not comfortable with that. As Anthony Hernandez leads. We're not even halfway through the EA Sports 500. Jack Haas shoving that 77 up through the middle of Colin Teague and Anthony Hernandez. Keegan Thompson coming back into the inside of the number 5 car. Almost some contact a little bit further back. Nathan Baird moving low on the inside the number 22 car. Jordan Edwards, the 83, back behind him, but Colin Teague leads for BAM Racing. But here comes Keegan Thompson, trying for some redemption from Daytona. Lost it because of lap traffic. It was Sebastian Kukulon in that one, and now he's forced middle 3. Nathan Baird with a big run to the inside of the number 22 car. He wants to lead lap number 15 here at Talladega. Oh, so close, but I think the 22 did do it on the inside. He did.
Yeah, he got that help there from our Daytona 500 winner, Jordan Edwards on the bottom there. That group here, 1-1 race, and they pretty much said peace out. And we really haven't talked about them much this season.
I believe that might have been his only top 10 on the season. It's just not been a good season for Fitz Bradshaw Racing, but here they are. Talladega's they're 4 wide. The run for Yepez, he just kind of split the middle right there, and all the way to the bottom. Nolan Lawrence, his second race back in a very impressive race at Darlington. Here he is being just as aggressive at Talladega, moving his way to the front. He has Jay Randall behind him, the number 48 car, and I think that's Benny Lynn, that number 71, looking low. The last race, he'll be in that number 71, as Nathan Stapleton set to come back in 2 weeks' time at the Lowe's Motor Speedway.
I bet you there's not a lot of people hoping he's going to come back anytime soon, Joe.
Well, he's fine to come back if there's no cautions.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, so far these guys, with the runs we've been seeing, Joe, you just have to take them because you never know when you're going to get another one like it. That's why we've seen such hectic moves like Fitzwater right now on the bottom's getting pushed by Miller. He's got to take a run on Leighton Strickland here and possibly push him way up to the front, but I don't think that 19's going to allow it.
Nolan Lawrence got down in line, but Fitzwater's a nice run going through 3 and 4. The big push from Jacob Miller. Here comes Sarah Kirchner and Luke Rainey, Eli Bright and Chris Jericho all moving up on the inside. Miller's going to leave Fitzwater to the outside to go with Nolan Lawrence, but looks like the 57 doesn't really have the power if he's the one leading a lane. You can see right there Fitzwater got down, and then Sarah Kirchner said, I need to shuffle you out. You are not as fast as some of these cars. And Luke Rainey saying, none of you guys are fast as me. I got up here and led about 5 straight laps without getting contested. He's trying to come back to the front. The number 88 cars, he sees the 2 cars in front getting away. Luke's now up to 3rd. He's going to try and just kind of drag this train of cars up to those front 2 with them.
Yeah, look, my name's on both of those cars.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic that those Bass Pro Shops cars got lined up. Maybe they did that on purpose. But look at Luke Rainey. He had like no help there, and he got to the inside of both those guys. That 88 car is steaming fast here today.
Yeah, I don't know what they did with it, but it wants to get up and go. I mean, look, he's pretty much pulling himself away from Eli Bright here. Eli's going to get back in because he has the help behind him, but holy cow, this 88 is cruising.
That's impressive for Luke Rainey here today as we're coming around to complete the 18th lap. Only 20 laps to go at the line, so we've gone caution-free so far. A welcome sight after what we saw in this race last season. I think these drivers got all their crashing out of the way last season, so that this season they could go caution-free to the end maybe.
I think you just jinxed it, Joe.
I hope I did not, but we have Evan Hunter.
If these guys wreck, you might get some not-so-happy emails here in this upcoming week.
Well, here comes some of the smaller teams. Evan Hunter for MB2, Baby Rose for Melling looking to take it 3 wide, and here's our pulser, Noah Clifton coming back. Sebastian Kukulon, once again, he's been one of the most aggressive drivers this race, bar maybe the guy that went to his middle, Matt Tuck, but here comes Kukulon trying to get that lap led for 5 bonus points, because remember, not many championship drivers have done that here today. If Kukulon can do it, it'd be very, very beneficial, and he has his teammate Justin Atkins right behind him entering the tri-oval.
Yeah, you got RCR power here, but he left them 4 wide again.
4 wide for the lead. Who's going to lead halfway here at Talladega? It's going to be Atkins on the inside. That's one of our championship drivers. 5 bonus points there. He left his teammate Kukulon, but kind of selfish, but also he's in the championship fight. He can't just give it to his teammate.
I was gonna say, is that a greedy player or is that a I'm trying to win the championship type of play?
That's a driver who's never won a race in the Winston Cup Series saying, I need to either win a race or win the championship without winning a race, right? He's basically saying, I need to win something here soon.
Well, here comes another RCR guy. I mean, 3 of the RCR guys are in the top 10, right? Or top 5, top 6 even.
Well, remember, they were strong in this race last season. All 3 of them were, and here they are again. Looks like they have some pretty good race cars. Mitchell Collins leads Evans up to the top side. That allows DeLello and Lawrence to drop to the bottom. Sarah Kirchner's back on the bottom. Heslo from her teammate, Jamie Stammer Jr. Collins will lead this lap. DeLello's going to maybe try and lead the next one. Gets a great run to the inside with 18 laps to go. Has Lawrence pushing him to the inside. And Zach DeLello goes to the lead and turns 1 and 2 as we have now completed 20 laps here at Talladega. Great time to go to our Advanced Auto Parts question of the week. As last week at Darlington, we'd asked which driver yet to win in 2002 will win before the year ends. At the time we mentioned that, it was Atkins and Burnett running 1-2. Neither of them were able to get to victory lane, but Justin Atkins got the most votes at 44%. Matthew Burnett got 37%. Hunter and Spro Tube down around 10%. So obviously, people think that the RCR, the Roush car, maybe both are probably going to get to victory lane before the season ends.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that turns out here. I mean, they both got strong cars. We've seen the 30 up front already this race. I don't really think we've seen Burnett up front. Actually, he's creeping his way up front right now.
Yeah, Matthew Burnett's kind of been quiet here today as his teammate DeLello got to lead that lap for 5 bonus points. Big there, but this week, once again, asking about the championship battle. How many drivers will have a shot at the championship come Atlanta? Will it be 1 to 2 drivers, 3 to 5, or 6+?
Run that question one more time.
How many drivers will have a shot at the championship come the finale at Atlanta?
How many are within a race right now again?
Well, there's only about 3 or 4 now after Wells won at Darlington, had that dominant performance.
I want to say 5 or less. I don't know if that was a question, but I'm modifying it.
All right, so we'll put you in the 3 to 5 range. How about that?
That works. Yeah, yeah, that works. I get to change my answers. I'm special.
I guess so. As Cement Oskin leads, and here's Trey. You said we haven't talked about Matthew Burnett today. Here he goes for the lead in turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, he's been very, very quiet this race. I mean, this is literally the first time we've talked about him, and he got his way out front. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to lead this lap or if someone's going to try to contest it, as they're going 3 wide here for second. So really, that's going to help the 17, but this one's got a big run on the inside. Yeah,
Hernandez got a huge push from Tim Gary, and it got him to the inside Matthew Burnett. Burnett was thinking about coming down low, but his spawner must have called inside. Burnett stayed in the middle. Third in line on the inside. Points leader Mathis Wells still looking for his first lap lead of the day. He's now pushing Tim Gary. Can he maybe try and move low to the trial and get the lap lead? Burnett's going to the middle. Wells goes to the bottom. They're 4 wide. Can Mathis Wells get it? Can Matthew Burnett get it? Here they come to the line in a race. Matthew Burnett stole it.
I don't know how they figured out who led that lap.
It's just that electronic timing and scoring, Trey. It's beautiful.
I'll never question it again.
Here comes Justin Zidell. He's trying to shuffle Mathis Wells out. Sebastian Kukulon. Maybe this time the aggressive. Maybe this time he could be aggressive enough to get that lap lead. They're 4 wide for a second. Wells trying to get down, but he couldn't this time. And once again, the points leader, it looks like, is going to be denied the lap lead for 5 bonus points.
Wells just can't get it done.
But Kukulon did this time.
Struggling. Yeah, I think the 29. Yeah, definitely with that move right there, the 29's going to have this lap led.
Well, it took him 24 laps of trying and 24 laps of frustration, but here comes Kukulon to lead for the first time today. Noah Clifton, the 32, moves up. Here comes Hunter Reed, the rookie, to the bottom. Heads up from Nathan Baird in the 22. Here comes Stanworth Jr., his teammate, Benny Lynn. And then Baby Ruiz and Laura Chung, Jay Randall coming on the inside. Here comes Hunter Reed off turn 2. Darts to the left, gets down low. Here comes Nathan Baird, maybe looking even lower. Down to the inside, 13 laps to go at the line. These drivers starting to get very, very aggressive. We still haven't seen a crash today. Will it stay like that, or will they get too aggressive towards the end of this race?
I do see a lot of 4 wide, but this track should be large enough to where we don't need to worry about them getting into each other. But yet, as we get closer to this thing, I think drivers are going to give less and less room. So, Joe, we never really know if one's going to spark where it'll happen.
Now Nathan Baird clears. He leads at Talladega. Here comes some affiliate cars. Baby Ruiz, affiliate to Evernham Motorsports. Laura Chung behind him. He's going to shove Benny Lynn to the middle. Nathan Baird to the top. Baby Ruiz for the lead at Talladega. He gets it through turns 1 and 2. Here comes some Hendrick cars and then some DEI cars. The Hendrick cars are Randall and Thompson. The DEI guys are Eli Bright and Anthony Hernandez. Those pairs of teammates are trying to move their way forward as Eli's going to leave Thompson, it looks like, to get Hernandez's teammate behind him. And now Laura Chung leads again, but here comes Jay Randall, Frederick Motorsports, trying to get that team's second victory of the season. As we come back to 12 laps to go at the line, these drivers in the championship have to be wondering how they can try and time their way to the front so that right at the end of lap number 38, they're the ones inside the top 5 and not in the back 5.
Yeah, it's when you start to, maybe talk to some other spotter saying, hey, I hope you get out front, he will help me get up front, make those mutual agreements. But once, like you said, once the white flag comes out, no one's friends anymore.
Jay Randall led that last lap. Eli Wright now moves low. His teammate Hernandez tried to get low with him, but Jose Mills filled the gap in that Ultra Motorsports number 7. Now Mills fills another gap to the inside, pushing Eli Bright and Jay Randall up top 3 wide. Jordan Edwards and Chris Jericho. Jericho won this race back in 2000, so he knows how to get it done on these plate-style racetracks. Harry is third on the inside lane, coming back around to 11 laps of racing to go. Mills, Edwards, Jericho, Fitzwater, then Teagan Carter. That's the inside lane. Mills comes up. Here comes Edwards, and can Chris Jericho maybe be aggressive here through the travel to get the lap? But he's going to look 3 wide. Can Jericho with the push from Fitzwater get it done at the start finish? That's going to be oh so close, but it looks like the power of the 18 gets those 5 bonus points.
We haven't said that very much, that he's led a lap.
No, we have not. And it's kind of weird. Chris Jericho has been one of the most quiet drivers of the season. He won at Martinsville. That's the only thing we've really gotten to talk about good for him. And he's somehow second in the points tray.
It's strange how that works out like that, but hey, good for him.
You can never count out a past champion, right?
Yeah, you can't. And especially one that's been struggling all season. Maybe he just got hot at the right time.
I guess so. And we know Chris Jericho, though, to kind of falter in the summer, but then really pick it up once we get to the end of the summer and into the fall. And that's exactly where we are. And maybe could he possibly contend for that championship with his teammate Matheus Wells as Diglia Pez passes Jack Carter through the travel. He'll lead here at Talladega with now 10 laps of racing to go. Justin Zeidel trying to break a 2-year winless drought, but he gets put to the outside by Roberto Crown Jr., who is on a 1-year winless drought. Remember, won at the Lowe's Motor Speedway in a very, very interesting finish with his pit call getting him the victory. Now he's trying to get one here at Talladega outright racing. Evan Hunter trying to get back to victory lane. Riley Sprutu looking for his first of the season, and Nolan Lawrence moving on the inside. Thompson and Randall rubbed into turn 3, but saved their cars to not cause a massive crash in the middle of the field.
Joe, do you feel the intensity picking up?
I do. These drivers starting to push harder than they were before. They're making such aggressive moves, trying to get themselves to the bottom lane. With 9 laps to go, Trey, we're in the final 10 laps now. 9 laps to go. This race is picking up, and these championship drivers are trying to find a way to time it to where when they get to the front, they can try and hold it there for the final lap or 2.
Yeah, but you got to put yourself, like you said, you got to time it right. So you got to put yourself on the bottom to where once the cycling is done, you're going to be up front. And that's so hard to time, especially with how wide and spread out these guys get on this backstretch here. You never know where you're really going to be placed because you could be in the middle in a matter of a second.
And something else that could change that cycle, these guys are thinking it's going to go green to the end. What if we have a caution flag and then the cycle breaks up and then you're wondering, oh gosh, I'm back in 34th. How can I move through the field in 5 laps?
I don't want to think about a caution right now, Joe. That could mess a lot of things up.
Yes, it could. And for Hunter Reed, he gets forced up by Conrad Evans. A very aggressive move for that number 31 as they work their way through the travel. 3 wide for the lead, and Evans gets it on the inside lane. Matthew Burnett in the 17. You see Edwards, a very aggressive move to get down in line. 8 laps to go. Evans and Burnett are 1-2. Then Lathan Strickland, winner here earlier in the season, up to 3rd. Roger Ray, we talked about him before the race. If he can try and get one for Andy Peacher Racing, he's up on the inside lane. Tim Gary with them. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. and his teammate Mitchell Collins are moving in the inside. Then Matt Tuck in the number 25. Jose Mills in the 7. And the car that's led the most laps today, Luke Rennie in the 88, coming forward. But is it too soon for that number 88 car?
If these guys can start to stall out this bottom lane stuff and just kind of ride for a bit, it might not be too soon, but if they keep shuffling, especially 2 at a time like they are right now, it could definitely hurt them.
I still say, if this race stays green, someone in that 3rd outside lane, maybe even the 4th one up there, someone up there is in the position to win this race. We've seen so many passes each lap for the lead and for a position. I would not like to be on the inside right now with 7 laps to go. I think it's still too soon.
This is a race you never want to put money on, Joe, just because you never know where your driver needs to be at the end of this thing.
Well, Trey, people put money on the lottery, and this is just a motorsport lottery, so they'll do it.
Oh, well, I don't know if it's on the backstretch there, but Tuck made a move for the lead, and then the 7 made a move on Tuck for the lead.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just how quickly these things can change here. Oh my goodness.
That was a big move out of Luke Rennie to get down in front of Jordan Edwards. The car that's led the most laps today is going to get another one to his total, as Luke Rennie will lead with 6 laps of racing to go here at Talladega. He leaves Jordan Edwards. Here comes Kukulon, his teammate Atkins with him, and Jericho already back down the inside. Remember, he had just been up here about 3 laps to go, and now here he is back on the inside, but it might be too soon unless he can try and hold this track position. As Kukulon moves high, his teammate Atkins leaves him to dry. Here comes Jericho trying to block Anthony Hernandez, and that makes him move 3 wide on the RCR boys.
Now what's Hernandez going to do? He's going to stay with Jericho on the bottom here. So is the 24. As Luke gets right back down. This 88 is so strong when it gets in the lead, Joe. It's going to be hard to pass him, but you're going to need a bunch of guys, and Jericho's in the right spot to do it. He's going to follow Luke up top. Jericho loses his help, though.
Yeah, Hernandez left him. Justin Seidel might leave Anthony Hernandez, actually. Jericho got the drift from the 88, got down in line. This is the best case scenario for Chris Jericho. Get you and Luke Rennie single file. These guys start battling for 3rd place. You two can stay 1-2. I'm sure Jericho would take a 2nd place here to Luke Rennie if it means he gains points on his teammate and points to Mathis Wells, who is moving up on the inside lane with 5 laps to go.
Just about to say, Joe, look who's that 6th car in line right there. Better protect his bottom from this 22 because he's looking like he wants to make a move.
Oh,
here he goes.
Did. Nathan Baird
going to put the 20 in the middle.
Our points leader's now in the middle. He might drop back to the back of the field, and with 5 to go, I don't know if there's time for him to regain some ground. Jordan Stout, haven't talked about him much today. He's on the inside with Jack Haas right in front of him. Coming back to 4 to go. Seidel, he got clear of that battle for 3rd. Now he's running down the front 2. Is Jericho going to take the run from the 24, or is he going to maybe hope that the 24 stays with him? Well, never mind. He's not going to stay with them with 4 to go.
Yeah, you were saying, Joe?
Well, Jericho, he still got that draft. He got back clear.
Oh, where do you want to be right now, Joe? Where do you want to be?
I want to be in the 88 car because it looks like it's the fastest thing out here, but if I can't be in the 88 car, I want to be somewhere back in the pack that's starting to move forward like Hunter or Haas. Here comes Jack Haas in that number 77 for Jasper Motorsports, looking out 4 wide for 5th place.
He's going to have help. He should have help. Yeah, there he goes. But, I mean, he got lost. He didn't really gain any positions right there because that 4 wide faded out.
And there's contact back here. Jack Carter, Jose Mills, Jay Rando. They're shoving and they're banging. They somehow saved it. Coming back to 3 to go. Oh, my gosh.
That should have been jumped cars. I don't know how they saved that.
That was one of the best saves you'll ever see at near 200 miles an hour. That would have ended the race under the caution flag with 3 to go.
Well, it had an opportunity to move down to the inside, but that 29 went from the top lane all the way to the bottom.
Trey, the intensity level really ramping up. Here comes Strickland. He's trying to break some draft. Nathan Barrett, Evan Hunter. Strickland now moving low for a second on Chris Jericho. Trying to go for the Talladega sweep. Can Jericho get down in line behind Luke Rennie? It looks like he will again. They're 4 wide for 5th place as Riley Spurley trying to join his teammate at the front of the field. Coming back around to 2 laps to go at Talladega.
If you're going to want to pass that 18 or that 88, you're going to have to get some sort of help with you there. And so there he goes. Lathan's got to run, but Joe, the 18 stays with him, and he's going to stay out front.
Yeah, Chris Jericho, he just wants the points. He's not here for a race victory. He wants the points. With 2 to go, that's the move right there, though. Strickland and Hunter together are going to move to 2nd place.
See, I told you need the help, and Lathan got the help with Hunter behind him. Now, are they going to be able to make a move on this 88? Will they get a run down the backstretch on the exit of 2? Looks like Evan's going to leave Strickland there. Evans has no help.
And here comes Nathan Baird. Here comes Samet Oskin. Everyone shuffling around. Jericho trying to back up, maybe just try and find a way down in line. As we come around to the white flag this time behind the EA Sports 500 at Talladega, the pack is splitting up. Evan Hunter through to 2nd. Has help from Nathan Baird, Samet Oskin, Laura Chung. So many drivers looking for their first victory of the season or their first ever Winston Cup Series victories. Here they come to the white flag at Talladega.
Oh, Rainey's going to go down to the bottom to block the 22's momentum. Now he's going to go back up top, but it might be too soon because here comes the 22 on the inside.
Baird has up from Samet Oskin. There's the white flag. Samet Oskin is going to force it 3 wide. Luke Rainey almost got clear in the 88, but now Oskin is through to the lead. He pulls away. Laura Chung to 2nd for Everett Motorsports as they battle off 2 for the final time.
He's going to dive the lows here. Look at Spurley on the bottom. He's going to go all the way down. He's going to have Jericho behind him to help, but he got no run. The 26 still out front. Now the 28's on the bottom of the 2nd place.
Baby Ruiz 4 wide to the bottom. Roberto Crown Jr. and Nathan Baird are stuck in the middle. We have Oskin leading for Haas Carter Motorsports through 3 and 4, but a big run from Riley Sprintham and Chris Jericho. Can they take it to the bottom lane? Jericho takes it first on Riley Sprintham. Submet Oskin stays clear of the pack. Entering into the Triumphal, it's going to be a first ever victory for Submet Oskin, and it comes at Talladega in the EA Sports 500.
I don't know how we kept that clean.
I honestly cannot tell you how these drivers kept it clean, but that is a testament, Trey, to how amazing these race car drivers are. And Trey, what a day for Submet Oskin here at Talladega.
That move, when Jericho went down to the bottom, coming into the Triumphal, that pretty much sealed the deal for that 26.
It did. The run the 28 the 18 had, if Jericho stays with Riley's ProTube, we see Riley probably blast by the 26 or Jericho blast by them both if he makes a 3-wide move.
Yeah, it honestly could have been a 3-wide move from the finish here, but at the end of the day, the 26 is probably the biggest fan of Chris Jericho right now. Just could have killed that momentum, and that 26 going to victory lane.
Yeah, and it's great to see someone get their first ever victory in the Winston Cup Series, and for a smaller team like Haas Carter Motorsports, which is, rebranding to Bell Carter in the 2003 season. Oskin left without a ride at this point because Jack Carter moves to that team, but this is the best thing, Trey, to put on your resume. I have won a Winston Cup Series race at Talladega.
It's gonna get some people looking at him, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'd be looking at him if I had a car available. Submet Oskin, he put on a clinic there at the end, knew exactly when to make that move, and he gets it done here in the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. Second place to Chris Jericho. It's not a race victory, but Trey, it is oh so important for that championship, as Mathis Wells did not have the day he was looking for. He finished further back in the field. We'll get to Wells in a little bit. Riley Sprintham thought maybe he had the race won entering into the Triumphal until Chris Jericho, his help, left him into the Triumphal in the final lap. Great run for Baby Ruiz into the top 5 and 4th place for Melling Racing, and a top 5 for Roger Ray for Andy Peach Racing here. Laura Chung oh so close to victory. She'll end up in 6th, but that's back-to-back top 10 results for that number 9 here in the last 2 races. Petty Enterprises 7th and 8th. Hunter Reed and Roberto Crown Jr. with good runs, and Richard Childress Racing, Conrad Evans, Sebastian Kukulan 9th and 10th. They both gain a lot of points on the points lead. Nathan Baird, good run for Bill Davis Racing in 11th. Keegan Thompson, Lathan Strickland, Eli Bright, and Nolan Lawrence are the top 15. Luke Rennie, the dominant car of the day, was leading a lot there at the end, but fell back to 18th after getting passed late in the going. Down here, some of these championship drivers, Justin Atkins ends up in 26th. While it's not the best of days, he still gained points on Mathis Wells. Wells did not have the finish of the race he was looking for. DeLello gets 32nd. Mathis Wells gets 33rd. He beats Stout, he beats Burnett, he beats Richardson. So he gains points basically on all the Roush guys, but his teammate Jericho, in fact, Jericho might actually be the points leader after this race, if you can believe it. Kukulan gained points, the RCR guys gained points, so this championship battle is still going to come together. And even for Richardson, Stout, and Burnett not finishing ahead of the 20, they finished close enough to where they keep themselves in range. We had 38 cars within 2 seconds as Jamie Stammer Jr., Sarah Kircher, Jacob Miller, Jason Albert were losing the draft there at the end, especially Albert, who faded in 42nd, finished over 4 seconds off of the main draft. That 41 just did not have the speed here today at Talladega. And Trey, we look at the points. Remember last time Mathis Wells got a big points lead. Phoenix happened. He lost all that points lead. Well, here today, Trey, Chris Jericho, close to him entering the race. Mathis Wells didn't have the best day. Jericho's teammate ends up inside the top 5. The points have tightened up again between the JGR teammates, and don't count out Kukulan, Atkins, Evans, or the Roush guys either, because they also are still close enough to make an impact.
Yeah, I mean, Joe, just because he didn't wreck it, he still had a bad day, and like you said, stuff's going to close. This thing is nowhere near being close to being over, so I'm excited to see what the next couple weeks bring us.
Crazy to think we still have 5 races left to determine this championship, but for all these drivers in the championship, Trey, they might be happy what happens next week because there's no race next week. It's an off week, so the championship drivers can relax after what was probably the most tense days leading up to Talladega.
Joe, this is gonna the tempers are gonna start flaring here. You watch.
Well, with 5 races to go, I would not be shocked about that with how close this championship battle is. And In 2 weeks' time, come back to JRTV for the next race out. We'll go racing at the Lowe's Motor Speedway, one of the craziest tracks on the schedule, probably the craziest mile and a half track we have on the schedule. It's the UAW GM Quality 500 under the lights at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. Trey, we know that track has produced some crazy stuff in the past. Think to that race last season, Merchant Crown Jr. winning on a crazy pit strategy. We've seen some crazy racing, some crazy wrecks there. Who knows what to expect in 2 weeks' time at Lowe's?
Oh, I'm so happy to go back. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. These final 5 races are going to be a blast here on JRTV for sure. But today, it all belongs to Sabet Oskin, a first ever win in the NASCAR Wednesday Cup Series right here in the EA Sports 500 at Talladega. Congratulations to he and that number 26 Haas Carter Motorsports team on a very, very impressive day for sure. What a race we saw here at Talladega. Caution free to the end. It was an intense one for sure, but in the end, Sabanowski wins. Tune into JRTV in 2 weeks' time for the UAW GM Quality 500 at the Lowe's Motor Speedway. For Trey Bardo and Joe Rokowski, so long from the Talladega Super Speedway here in Alabama.